Oasis FM.
Hi, good afternoon. Once again, you find me in the offices of the Canarian Weekly. And the reason we're doing this again is because things are changing constantly on a day-to-day basis. So what I thought we'd do is keep you guys up to date by speaking to the man-in-chief, Mr Chris Elkington, the owner and the editor for the Canarian Weekly as well, and see what happened in the news this time. As always, don't forget, if you want to keep up to date with the latest information, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that little subscribe button just down there, and that'll keep you up to date with all the latest things that are happening on the island and also in the Canaries. So come on, let's go and have a chat with Chris and see what he's got to say.
Oasis FM.
So, Chris, not only are you the Commander-in-Chief of the Canarian Weekly, you're also the owner of Oasis FM, hence the reason why it's Oasis FM Online that we're doing.
All part of the same
And
company.
we're in the studio. We're in the studio.
It's the only place we get some peace and quiet. It's nicely soundproof. So, welcome to Oasis FM.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it looks very, very impressive.
Yeah.
A couple of questions, first of all.
Yep.
Since we last chatted, and it's had a fantastic response, by the way, so thank you very much for your time.
No
on
problem.
this. A couple of things have changed. First of all, the UK.
Yes.
Let's look at the UK side of it. They put their big announcement out, July the 19th.
Yes, Freedom Day. Well, obviously the one that everyone was waiting for, particularly in a place like here that's reliant on tourism, was anything related to travel.
Yes.
So now they've said that anybody travelling from the UK, any Brits, predominantly England, let's get that right before everyone else jumps on our case. Wales have announced from the 26th of July, we're still waiting for Scotland and Northern Ireland.
Okay.
But basically any British tourist travelling from there to an amber list country, which most of Europe is, including Spain and the Canary Islands, Balearics are in green, can return without quarantine. If they're double vaccinated, they just have to have a test on day 2, and that's it.
So that's actually fantastic news.
Great news, because it means obviously tourism can restart. People are still going to be cautious,
Yes.
obviously, but the indicators are that compared to jumping in and out of lists previously, obviously this is a much more longer term, much broader opening. And the reason it's been able to do that is down to the protection of vaccination, which has weakened the virus. Yes, there's more cases, but there is less deaths, and so on and so on and so forth. So vaccination has enabled this to happen. We're on target here in the Canaries to be at 70% by the end of July.
Brilliant.
So we're heading towards herd immunity after that point.
Fantastic.
So the news can only increase. So as long as we can control our infections here in the sun, then the guys back home can come and visit their properties, come and visit their friends and family, enjoy a holiday.
So for the tourists, great news.
Absolutely, because they're also lifting the recommendation not to travel to amber lists.
Yes, that's right.
So that's lifting as well. So it's great news for the tourists.
So this is the side from the British government, for the people in England travelling over here.
Yep.
There was a little caveat that you told me about 10 minutes ago, which I think is really just a very interesting point that we need to bring up in a round.
It is, because the one group that hasn't been sorted yet is expats, people living abroad. Me, everyone. And you can imagine, as soon as this was announced, people are jumping online and going, great, I'm going to go back and see my family. And hang on a minute. The stipulation is at the moment, and this is, let's be honest, they're implementing it as soon as possible. So you've got to give them chance to get their own systems in place. You have to be living in the UK as a UK resident. You have to have been vaccinated in the UK by the NHS, and you have to have access to the NHS app to be able to prove that you've been vaccinated. So at the moment, for example, I'm double vaccinated. I'm travelling back to the UK on Sunday for the first time in God knows how long. I've got my EU COVID digital certificate of full vaccination, but that isn't valid. I still have to quarantine, day 2 test, day 8 test, and then test to release on day 5 if I want to. And at the moment, that will still be applicable in England for expats living abroad after the 19th, and from Wales after the 26th, until Grant Shapps said that they're doing deals or negotiating at the moment with the EU, and obviously other territories, America, this, that and the other. But what they want to do is, rather than approach all 27 individual members of the EU, is just do one blanket agreement. Because here in Europe, in the Union, that obviously the UK is no longer part of, we have the digital green certificate now. You can now get everything on the app. We can download it in the same way as they can in the NHS. So it's only a matter of time till that agreement's done. It won't be long.
So we just got to, once that changes again, we'll just update you guys.
Of course,
but
absolutely.
As it stands at this moment in time, that's actually the way
Indeed, that's the way it is. One of the things people have been worried about is obviously with the alert levels over here, is whether or not it stops travel.
I was actually going to move on to this. This is the next
Okay.
part we're going to talk about now, because obviously we know in Tenerife and in the Canaries, Thursday is normally quite an important day for announcements about
Yeah.
what the government have actually decided to do.
Every Thursday they have a governing council meeting,
Yeah.
which is when, if there's any updates to do with anything, they announce it, then it gets officially published and it comes into effect.
Yeah.
And yesterday was no different.
It came out a bit later though. We were waiting for something and we didn't see it. We didn't see.
It was an important one because there's been various talk due to like the UK, there's been an increase in infections. Like the UK, we have the Alpha and Delta variants, the British and Indian variants, having effect and increasing. We also have a situation the same as the UK with new infections predominantly amongst young people.
Right.
And it is, I hate to say it, predominantly young people who are not adhering to the regulations.
Yeah.
So as opposed to the usual 5 o'clock press conference, they delayed it till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And if you're in the job like I am, you're sat on a computer
You're
until
late
about
night,
9:15 until they actually decided to say something. But it was important they got it right, particularly with what the UK announced. Now, Lanzarote, La Gomera, El Hierro, La Palma are all in level 1. So they're in the lowest risk. Things are the most back to normal in those islands.
Uh-huh.
Fuerteventura was moved to level 2 last week.
Yes.
Gran Canaria was moved to level 2 yesterday because they've seen an upturn in cases as well.
Yeah.
Tenerife has been in level 3 which we covered for 2 weeks now. But there was talk of what they're going to do with Tenerife, whether or not to go to level 4, is that fair on the rest of the population, or because again of the protection of the vaccines, can we target it predominantly at the group that are being most affected, which is what they've done.
Just to deal with the facts, what is level 4? What would level 4 have entailed for Tenerife?
Level 4 means that everything closes at bars, restaurants are closed on the inside, everything closes at 6 o'clock in the evening except for essential services. Only 2 people can meet in public or go out together in public.
Wow.
And so on and so forth. Masks come back into the equation, and the government are asking for a 12:30 till 6 o'clock in the morning curfew to be in Tenerife now and at level 4. So it's severe, particularly when we've already mentioned where most of the infections or the biggest majority of infections are. So this is why they've now said, right, okay, we need to target that age group. We need to target that age group where they move. So in Tenerife, which Adeki have already announced that it's happening from Sunday.
So we've stayed in level 3.
Stayed in level 3 with extra restrictions. They've called it reinforced level 3. That's what.
Okay. So what's the reinforced level 3?
Reinforced level 3 means that beaches, parks, recreational areas, sports, open sports areas like football fields, and places where. Do you remember the years ago? We used to go down the park and have a bottle of cider.
A long way back. I was a clean living boy.
That's basically what the kids are doing.
Right.
The youngsters are doing. And this is
kids are being kids.
And this exactly. And the president of the Canaries, I know Victor Torres, was very fair what he said. He said, look, we kind of expect it. They're living their lives. They did exactly the same last year.
Yeah.
But, 2 days ago yesterday we had 513 new cases. All right?
Yeah.
The previous highest day in the whole pandemic was 385 in one day. So it was the most cases we've ever had. All right?
Yeah.
So he said, look, we appreciate it happens. Like we had a spike at carnival time over here, like we had a spike at Easter, like we had a spike at Christmas when people get together.
Yeah.
There's only 2 ways the virus spreads.
Yeah.
Either by people meeting, hugging, kissing, this, that and the other, or, by not testing or testing positive and still going out. So, this is why they've kind of targeted by saying, okay, look, we don't want to ruin your lives, but you need to start obeying by the rules. You need to start getting vaccinated, because without that age group, we won't reach herd immunity. So we need them to get vaccinated. So yes, parks closing, all the stuff we said is closing. Shopping centres, you're only allowed to queue. There's no hanging around. Groups can't meet. Only 6 people are allowed to meet.
So we put that into place as well.
Yeah.
Right.
shops in shopping centres can only be 25% capacity. Doesn't affect the bars and restaurants. The bars and restaurants are still open until midnight, still can have their 50% inside, 75%
Yeah, because they
on the
changed
terrace.
that previously.
Yep. So it doesn't affect the bars and restaurants, doesn't affect you guys coming on holiday. Yeah, the beaches are shut 8 o'clock at night till 6 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock at night, you're in a restaurant anyway.
Exactly. You know, there's a big thing being made that they're controlled capacity in the daytime, but you know, we're not at full capacity of tourism, so it doesn't make any difference.
No.
It's actually, in a lot of people are liking it.
I was, my previous experience, I was at Siam Park last week, and it wasn't full capacity at all, and it was quite pleasant actually.
It's been a real credit to Siam Park that they're keeping the park open during this, because they only opened, what was it, on the 5th of June or something, at the beginning of June, and the same with Laura Park, and you know, they could have quite easily said, no, we're closing. But it's really well controlled.
Yes.
You have to book online.
Yeah.
Maximum 30% capacity.
Yeah.
Do you know what? There's no queues on either side. You know, the sunbeds are spaced and everything else. There's no queue in the restaurant. It's like having your own playground, isn't it?
Brilliant.
So that's what the reinforcement is. I mean, there is other stuff. You know, big shows, big events, anything over 700 people, this, that, and the other. But the generalisation.
The day-to-day living for a tourist over here is, as if you're a tourist coming into Tenerife, doesn't really affect, does it?
No, not at all, because it's targeted at the resident age group that are doing like we used to, and meet in the park for a bottle of Merrydown. Although it's not Merrydown, not Merrydown.
So, obviously with this situation just been ongoing, it's constantly changing. Again, I really appreciate your time to have a chat with us here. Would it be alright to come back again when it changes again?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, this is coming in a week on Monday, which is the 19th.
Yes.
Wales bring it on the 26th, so you can kind of expect that, you know, come August, it will change for the expats as far as travel with the, you know, going to the UK. But in general, I mean, this is great news for everyone. You know, you've seen it in the UK, bookings have gone up by 400% for EasyJet, they've increased exponentially for Ryanair and all the rest of it. So, you know, Jet2 are starting to reactivate holidays, so people can have their summer holiday. Now, for us on the island, okay, we can't yet go back. Once a few of you have been here, we'll be able to afford to, so that's really good. but joking apart, it means people can come on holiday, and you know, the island has been empty for, 14 months now?
Yeah.
We've had it to ourselves for 14 months.
We were just keeping it warm for you.
We've enjoyed it. You know, there's been times when it's been nice, but you know, we need everyone back.
It's time for you guys to come back over now.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the only thing as far as people on holiday is, we said before, they may not get to see all their favourite acts performing in all their favourite bars, because it's up to the bars whether or not they're open. Not all of them can have entertainment. Not all the acts are here.
Yeah, the facilities to actually host the entertainment under those rules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we're in July. All right. So come the end of August, when we sort of head into our peak season in September, you're talking 80% vaccination. You're talking the rest of Europe starts to close, because obviously we get the winter season, we have the winter sun, we have the sun. If you're booking to go on holiday after then, it's going to be back to normal.
Fantastic.
As much as...
Fantastic. That'll be great for those days when they
Sweeping statement, that, isn't it?
Very good. Very easy. And if it changes, we'll let you know. Chris, once again, thank you very, very much for taking the time.
More welcome.
To us. As always, it's Oasis FM online. That's what we're doing it for. You see it up there. Make sure if you come over and hire a car, that is the frequency you want, 106.6 FM. And we'll get them on all the hire cars on the island. Chris, once again, thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next one.
Boom.
Cheers, buddy. Don't forget to like, subscribe. See you on the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.